A mouth-watering matchup to kick off our coverage. Last season's revelations. Huddersfield, who are more than capable of adding to their silverware this year, against the St Helens side, who have set off in sensational style this season. Really is an exciting prospect here today. And there's still Danny Brough there, who could have a big influence on this game. This is the way they are lining up. Huddersfield are missing a strike centre. The England international Leroy Cudjoe is out, but another strike centre. The impressive Joe Wardle is back from an ankle problem, and he has got the lightning-quick Jody Broughton on his outside, who's made quite a splash since his close season signing from Salford. And on the other side, St Helens will be mighty relieved that scrum half Luke Walsh is playing today, signed from Penrith in Australia. He's been a revelation in the early season, but he's missed the last couple of games with a calf injury. And John Wilkin, the big miss today, he is suspended. And at this stage, it really is an unpredictable outcome. On their day, both are capable of hitting the heights. Saints have shown that consistently this year. Huddersfield, for all their inconsistency, have had their moments. Will they manage to knit 80 minutes of moments together today? Or will St Helens carry on this 100% record they have? 7 wins from 7, and the perfect start from Saints' point of view, because Danny Brough, he of the magic boot, has kicked it out on the full, carried out cleverly by Flanagan, and a penalty straight away for St Helens on the halfway line. Jonathan Davis.
Not the greatest start, and this will now give St Helens field position. As you said, consistency is the key for Huddersfield Giants. On their day, you know, they're capable of beating anyone and putting sides away, but when they're bad, you know, they are bad.
Well, they played superbly well against Wigan in the opening game of the season at the DW Stadium to win that match. They had terrific performance against Leeds as well here that ended in a draw. They might have snatched a victory that day, but otherwise they've been a little patchy. Not Saints, who've been burning away everything ahead of them. Here's Roby at dummy half. This is Walsh, who puts that flat pass to Soliola. Haircut tamed for this game. See a Soliola. Roby, short pass, it hits the face, I think, of Alex Warmley, and bounces down, and Huddersfield survived that opening set.
Yeah, I think very unlike James Roby, the pass was far too high, not the right weight. Walmsley cops one. Terribly relieved Huddersfield from the poor kick-off.
Heads in, boys.
7 wins out of 7 for St Helens this year. 226 points they've amassed in those 7 wins, and they've scored 40 tries. They are the entertainers, but Huddersfield like to move it around a bit as well. McGillivray with that initial thrust.
Release James.
Plenty of work to do from deep inside their own half here, Huddersfield. Here's Lunt the Cumbria. Kopchak.
Kyle.
Welsh international, Craig Kopchak. Fresh from that World Cup last year, of course, when the Welsh perhaps didn't perform as they would have wanted to. Lunt. Now Crabtree. Blonde hair bobbing in the breeze as he sends those St Helens defenders back a stride or two with that urge and surge. Here's Brough with a terrific kick. He kicked it on the angle there to his own body. The balance seemed off, but he managed to get that kick away.
That's a very good set by Huddersfield, though. Right from their own line. A great kick to finish. I think Adam Swift thought of catching it, just let it run in.
Paul Anderson, the Huddersfield coach, actually finished his career with the St Helens, didn't he? Including a Challenge Cup final back in 2006.
Stay back.
Here's Walsh with a fee. St Helens looking for ground again here. Roby, so important to them, the man at dummy half. This is Kyle Amor. We've seen him a time or two over the years, haven't we, on BBC television. Played for Wakefield in the last few years in Challenge Cup games. It's a good effort by Soliola, but well met in defence. Roby again is off and looking on the inside, and Walmsley.
Release!
big hit last year, having signed from the Championship side Batley. It's Amor again involved. For the second time and got the arm free. Lomax in anticipation, the fullback's up in the line, but he has knocked off.
That's a very, very good tackle, but by Brett Ferris. You see St Helens just going up the side of the ruck, taking good, easy yardage. Good support by Lomax, but great tackle. Gets his hands free. Lomax tries to say that's a very, very good hit.
Talking about the World Cup, Ferris was very much a star of England's campaign, wasn't he, last year? Maybe a little unheralded on the national stage before that World Cup began, but everybody knew his name by the time it had finished.
Go on.
Outstanding performer. Here comes Crabtree now.
Two, see ya!
It's a tough effort from both sides in defence in these early stages. Robinson to Brough, delaying the pass and holding on in the end and running into Willie Manu. Here's Lunt, Kopchak, Robinson. They're keeping it alive well enough here. Lawrence taking the tackle, and Lunt just rolls into that acting half position again here and finds to his left. Luke Robinson with a bob and a weave and a little bit of a dart, but Amor got the arms out and made the tackle, and Ohio was there as well. And here comes the final tackle in this set. Brough putting it high, Grix putting the engine on and chasing after that, but in fact it's gone past him, and Brough will pull it on again from an offside position. Well, whether that was caught in the wind or not, I'm not sure. It doesn't look the strongest of wind out there.
Well, nobody claimed it. Nobody got near it. I thought maybe Danny Brough would have caught this. There's the up and under, all onside. Ball bounces, no one claims it. Don't know why he tries to kick it on, really should have caught that, then
back up, mate.
Done something with it.
Here's Amor.
Kyle Amor's really put in a lot of work in the first 5 minutes.
Roby.
Hands off, Craig, come on.
It's Willie Manu, who has the explosive ability to rip sides open down the channels.
Craig, make sure your hands come straight
on this
off,
occasion.
Okay, go two.
Roby again, Wormsley again, hungry for that early work, and Crabtree put the shoulder in. He and Kopchak stopping Wormsley in his track. Here's Walsh. Lomax, the fullback, up in the line again here. Ohio moving it left. Jones trying to keep it alive. Takes the tackle.
Four boys. Wait for it.
Swift. Ohio. Dummies and darts and almost through. Lawrence put the big arm out and managed to drag him down. And just as well he did. So here's the final tackle. Walsh looking for the kick, but it's covered easily enough and well enough by Jody Broughton, who'd read it well.
Yeah, well played, Broughton. Drop back very cleverly. I think Huddersfield will have to watch Johnny Lomax.
Two, see ya,
he plays everywhere, he pops up, he comes in as a second receiver. Support play from the fullback is very, very good.
Third,
started life in the halves, didn't he, Johnny Lomax?
Knows the game.
But it's when he's been moved to fullback by his coach Nathan Brown that his potency has really come to absolute fruition. Here's Brough, high and hanging. Broughton with a chance to show a bit of speed here, Jody Broughton. And he's got plenty of that. Fastest man in Super League just a couple of years ago, officially. Here's Brough with a kick. And just asking a question or two of St Helens, but it wasn't the right question as it turned out. It's gone behind the dead ball line, and it will be a tap back on the 20.
Just measured that incorrectly. A good play by Danny Brough. He's noticing that Tom Makinson is dropping back early in the tackle count. Releasing his winger.
Two, move. Wait for it, Craig. Wait for it.
Here's Roby.
40.
Walsh is behind the 40-metre line, so if this goes out of play, and it does beyond the 20, it's a 40-20 and an attacking scrum for St Helens.
That's great variety. The early kick and now field position. Just watch. Brilliant kick. No one chases him down. Definitely inside the 40. You see the winger hasn't dropped back and Griggs hasn't come across, not expecting a kick. That's very, very good play by Luke Walsh.
And for the sake of our casual viewers, kick from behind the 40 goes out of play behind the 20. It means that you get the head and feed and a chance for 6 tackles to hammer your opponent's line here.
Yeah, you reward a quality kick.
Let's move it on. got to be quicker,
And
boys.
it's what he brings to this side, isn't it, Luke Walsh?
Goal line
He's a
defence.
terrific goal kicker, but kicking in general play and his organisation and everything. Here's Soliola. Setting up position for St Helens.
Hold. Goal.
Roby. Out from dummy half. Walmsley. With a big drive forward again. Kopchak
Hold the line.
making
Hold
sure
the
he was
line.
held.
Wait.
With the help of Jason Chan, the Papua New Guinean international. Here comes Walsh again. It's Manu. Can't get the arms free. Huddersfield makes sure of that. The defence is good enough for the moment.
Hold the line.
But there are still tackles to come. Roby again. Walsh with those couple of dummies. O'Hire to his left and the step. O'Hire spoons it over the top. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant from Lance O'Hire, and Adam Swift finishing in the corner. But he will be the first, I'm sure, to come inside and thank the St Helens number 6 who laid that on a plate.
Well, not the first time Lance O'Hire's thrown the dummy. He had a half a break earlier on, looked very, very dangerous earlier on. On this occasion, they just give him too much space, throws a lovely dummy, and they don't complete the tackle. This is the 40-20 that sets up the field position. That's a beautiful kick. And then from that kick, just what? Dummy, and then puts him in space. There's one block there, just can't, there's too much gap there, you just can't get out there. There's two dummy runners. And one just holds. I think it's Chan, isn't it? He gets held up in that defence, just watch. There he is, comes across a little bit too late. That's a lovely finish, easy finish, but Lance O'Hire.
Well, he's had mixed reviews in his time at St Helens as Lance O'Hire. But I think the common consensus is that alongside Luke Walsh this season, he's at his most effective. The New Zealand World Cup winner, of course, just a few years ago. And Luke Walsh, the man who's very much the heartbeat of this St Helens side, with a chance to turn 4 into 6. So let's hear from Brian Noble. Brian, what did you make of that try?
Well, it's a brilliant play from Lance O'Hire. He goes through the hole that Jason Chan and Luke Robinson leave open for him. A little bit of a triangle there for him to run through and make a pass play to Swift. He still had to be passed, and with the right amount of weight and talent, and Swift had the easy job there. Great try.
I think it'd be very interesting to see that at half-time, because just certainly held the focus of Chan. He was left a little bit of a gap.
We saw Adam Swift making his debut a couple of years ago as well, if you might remember. I think Nathan Brown was our guest that day when St Helens were run very close by Widnes in a Challenge Cup tie. Here's O'Hire again. This is Soliola with a soft pass, and it was anything but a soft challenge that met the rampaging Kyle Amor, but he did well to shrug off the initial interest and get another couple of strides downfield. Soliola again is really busy in these early stages. This is Roby. See that Huddersfield leading the tackle count at the moment, which tells you the work they've had to do so far, but they'll be helped.
Definitely working up either side of the ruck. Not sure if they done their homework, the easy yardage. Kyle Amor's having a very big start to the game.
Okay, Luke, it's on you, pal.
So let's just looked at a little bit sharper the first 10 minutes.
Step by Broughton, who's done well.
One, move!
Here's Lunt.
Go.
Crabtree lining himself up, but Lunt will run past him to Robinson, and little track back on the inside by Chan.
Hold! Go, that's it.
Lunt. And there's Kopchak.
Third.
Swivel and a turn as he hits that line. Bruff. It's Lawrence coming in short, but St Helens defence had him read. Lunt away, and now Bruff, and there's a bit of a gap developing on the right-hand side. The pass just hesitates the momentum a little, so there's more to do for McGilvray, but he's a big handful, Jermaine McGilvray, for a winger. And here comes the last. Bruff with a measured kick. He hopes Makinson was underneath it, but so too was Jordan Turner, who takes it very safely.
Yeah, good take by Turner. Just not enough height on that for the Huddersfield Giants players to compete for it. I just feel that Huddersfield Giants just need to take it up a little bit. They're going lateral very, very early and not having much change of this in Helens' defence. They've just got to make the easy yardage and then, you know, feed the half-backs to create something. At the moment, you know, St Helens' defence is just coping very, very easy because they are going lateral. And here's the big man.
12 times winners of the Challenge Cup, St Helens, the last of those in 2008. And they might feel they're on the track again here as Makinson puts the kick through. Turner takes it safely enough. Here comes O'Hire linking in. Roby in support. Manu off to Makinson. Makinson will finish. Another glittering, superb St Helens try.
That is a great try again. Again, from the quick play of the ball by Masoa. He takes it up, as I was saying, and then they go wide. They spot the space on the right-hand side, the left-hand side of the Huddersfield defence. They wait the space for Makinson. And this is from the Masoa drive. There we are. They drop back, Broughton has dropped back, so the space is there. They get behind the kick. It's a lovely weighted kick. Ball comes inside. Lazahaya keeps it alive. Roby, simple pass. Makinson finishes it. That's a great, great try. There we are. There's the gap from the Broughton dropping back. They are onside. Turner picks it up. Lazahaya. Great support by Roby. Manu, Makinson try.
It's a fairly straight finish. By the standards that Tommy Makinson has set this season, he's scored some absolutely fabulous tries. It's the 9th try, by the way, 8 games in which he's played. The 9th try he's scored. And there's only one match he's failed to score in, and that was against the Salford Red Devils earlier this year. But he's scored against every opposition he's come against so far.
The difference is, you've seen they've really, really done the hard yardage in Helens. The forwards have taken it up. Masoa there takes it up, quick play the ball, and then they go wide. You've always got to earn, you know, the opportunity to go wide.
Well, you can see the confidence absolutely pouring through St Helens at the moment. Hardly surprising given the start to the season they've had. Here's Luke Walsh. Missed with his first attempt. How good's the second? It's just going to drift wide again. So while St Helens remain in the ascendancy, 2 missed goals might yet prove a little costly. Brian Noble.
What a brilliant St Helens try, and on the back of this quick play the ball from Mossy Masoa. He gets the ground. James Roby spots the opportunity on the fringe. Luke Walsh increases the opportunity. Jordan Turner releases Makinson. They should have closed the play down there, Huddersfield. Look at the number of blue shirts in the frame. All backing each other up, all supporting each other. Nice hands from Manu to Makinson to finish in the corner. Brilliant try.
It's a hanging kick, hanging restart.
Great take.
Hold, boys. Hold. Go. Surrender. Stand.
Roby standing here at dummy half, 15 minutes played. Nothing to suggest so far that St Helens are going to suffer any kind of a dip in form. It is up to Huddersfield to dig deep and find a way back into this game. Long, long way to go, but Huddersfield need to show some heart now.
Hands there, Michael.
Roby looking left to Flanagan, and Flanagan just pushing the possession inside the Huddersfield half on the 5th tackle, so on the last. Lance O'Hire with a kick, again measured between the full-back and the winger. Who wants this? Broughton is the man who bends his back and is going to bring it back here.
A great set again by St Helens, a beautiful kick to finish. Indian goal. That says it all, doesn't it? First half possession, 70% St Helens, and territory 63%.
There's Grix. St Helens fans in good voice. Huddersfield fans yet to find their voice. I'm sure he's found his voice, Paul Anderson. I think he'll be screaming out 1 or 2 instructions. This is a very good kick, beyond very good. It's a brilliant kick, absolutely brilliant. And when his side needed it most, Danny Brough has come up with another scintillating 40-20 that puts his side from the brink of defence to the very point of attack.
It's a great kick, this is. You know, we saw one earlier from St Helens and Watch. This is an even better one. He checks, he gets behind his own player, He's got to check his run and then puts a magnificent kick in. And when Huddersfield needed something to happen on the field, whether it's a tackle, you know, a break or a kick, that should surely lift Huddersfield Giants now. Great opportunity for them.
So Danny Brough prepares to feed the scrum. Huddersfield prepare to launch their attack. Here comes the first effort from Jason Chan. 10 metres away. First time this St Helens line has been under pressure in these early stages, and Kopchak is very nearly there. He's now. He's dropped the ball.
Lost it.
Dropped the ball backwards in trying to reach out. Well, the referee, having initially said it was a knock-on, I think now is just double checking. So let's hear for the first time today from our video referee Ian Smith.
Yeah, we're looking how the ball came out of Craig Kopchak's hand. So it's how the ball came out of this. So he's got hold of it there. He loses that, Ben. That's it. Yeah, loses that. Just run it back, play it at full speed. Yeah. Knock on. Yeah, that's going to be a knock on in the field of play. That. So it's going to be no try. Scrum to St Helens.
Well, there we get it. No try and a scrum to St Helens, but how close was that?
Well,
full marks to Sean Lunn.
Yeah.
For showing the alertness.
Interesting call, actually. Very interesting call, because I thought that could have been a try. Because I thought the ball went back. The knock-on is given, though. Scrum St Helens.
Well, those who are watching on the big screen here in Huddersfield colours were quite convinced that that was a try, but Ian Smith, the video referee, saying there was a knock-on there. So St Helens survive. Huddersfield missing out on their opportunity. Their first of the game so far, but St Helens now with a chance to bring it forward with Jordan Turner. Let's hear from Damien Johnson, who's down on the touchline. Damien.
Got Anthony Lafranchi here, the St Helens player who didn't make the match day 17 today. You must be pretty pleased with what you've seen both in attack and defence from Saints.
Yeah, it's been a good start, you know, obviously coming here to Huddersfield up against a quality Giants team. But we wanted to get off to a good start and we've done that.
Thanks, Anton.
Cheers. Oh, it's a clattering hit on Mossy Marceau, but he doesn't stay stopped, does he? He hit him with everything, and he just carried on Marceau. He's on the field of play here. Expect fireworks. Here comes Lomax.
It's great pressure.
Terrific little flick, but it's not gone where he wanted, and Brough has it instead. And runs it back towards that halfway line, and the sun's come out here at Huddersfield. The sun's come out, but if you get close to Mossy Marceau, you might have think it's gone back behind the clouds again. Here's Lunt. This is Robinson. Going to try and take them on. What hole there might have been there, closed up quickly enough.
I think it's a clash of heads there. Kyle Amos come off badly there. It's gone backwards, play on. I think Kyle Amos copped one right in the head.
Huddersfield claiming it should have been another 6 with a St Helens touch, but the referee's not seeing it that way, and Wardle had to reach and does well to take a very difficult pass.
I think he's twisted his knee as well going down there, Kyle Amos.
Here comes Brough with a kick. Swift is back there to defend it here. Oh, it's perfectly measured because Swift had to get up in the field of play, but he was tackled in mid-air by McGilvray.
That is a great kick and a great catch by Swift. This ball is drifting away from him. He's taken in the air. That's a great take as well.
And the inch-perfect nature of that, because had it not been for the mid-air tackle, had he taken it in the field of play, he'd had to do something about it, and defence was right on top of him. If it had just gone another yard or two, it's in the in-goal area, and it's a tap back on the 20, so the absolute accuracy of that kick was spot on.
Yeah, just a shame he took him in the air, really, because that would have been a good position for Huddersfield Giants. We've
got a bit of a stoppage here because Kyle Amor is still being treated on the field. So the referee is mindful just to stop things so that he can get off, and he's looking just a little uncomfortable, isn't he? Whether it's one he can run off in the next few minutes, we'll have to wait and see, but he'll do that on the sidelines.
Yeah, this is a tackle. I think it's a clash of heads first of all, but then his leg just gets caught under the Huddersfield player and then twists his knee.
Time on.
Don't forget the draw for the fifth round of the Tetley's Challenge Cup coming up right after we finish the commentary here. And lots of Challenge Cup ties taking place as we speak, and have already taken place, of course. And you can see all the action on the Super League show, a Challenge Cup special, Monday night, 11:55, BBC One HD in the north only, but across the nation on Tuesday lunchtime, 1 PM on BBC Two. Roby has knocked on. A little of frustration in St Helens' game at the moment.
Yeah, so wants to go out and play it. He's complaining that they're not allowing him to play the ball. James Roby knocked it on.
There's Murphy.
Go.
Lawrence.
I think St Helens, have been so dominant.
Second.
First 20 minutes, we haven't seen much of the Huddersfield Giants' backs at all.
Holds. Goal two.
Lunch.
Should be an opportunity.
Some of the short pass and the usually impressive Brett Ferris put down on the 20-metre mark. Brough across the line again. Robinson. Here's Grix. Going lateral at the moment. St Helens defence squeezing up. Here comes Brough. Crabtree. They were waiting for him. And that was a fifth. So with a try line inside, Huddersfield have one more dig in this set. And Robinson will put the kick towards that right-hand side. McGilvray has to reach it. It went forward. Oh, the referee says it went backwards. I thought it went forward onto the head of Swift. It's still play on. The kick into the in-goal area is not bad because Lomax has to deal with it. Steps out of play. And a drop out underneath the sticks.
Yeah, good little kick to finish the set off. What you said, Dave, they're not having much change out of the St Helens defence. This is a little kick with Chan. No option for Lomax.
It's a good cool kick in the end, wasn't it? That little rolled ball into the in-goal area, which all things being equal gives Huddersfield possession back again here, as long as they're tidy in the catch, and they are. Jermaine McGilvray's been in amongst the tries as well this season. Six times he's been over the whitewash, including a hat-trick in the opening game against Wigan. He's one of those who was being talked about as a potential England winger in the build-up to the World Cup last year. Here's Luntz to Robinson, to Brough, and then Ferris. And the man ran in front of him, and it's frustration for Ferris because Wardle, having run in front of him, has given away the penalty for obstruction.
I think they've got to, they've just got to make the hard yards first. It's just not happening for them.
On his foot, go.
Seems to be the fashionable penalty of the season, that, so far.
One, move, Brett.
Just some news about the St Helens prop, Kyle Amor, who's, you might see a shot of him on the bike. He's taken a bang to the left knee, right in the point of the knee, rather painful. He's trying to loosen the joint and hopes to get back on, hopefully very shortly.
It's Mossy Masai.
Release! And wait. Goal three.
Roby. Manu. Oh, lovely
Great
hands
ball
from him, and Makinson. Again, a chip back on the inside with Jordan Turner in support, but Jody Broughton drops on it. Makes it all safe for Huddersfield again.
And again, they've noticed that Jody Broughton is dropping back, utilising the extra man on the right-hand side.
Chan.
Third, once. Hold. Goal three.
good step.
Good effort, wasn't it, David Fayuma? Brian Noble pointed out the fact that he's a real stepper, Fayuma, when he comes on, and Brough again with a big searching kick downfield, just looking and hoping to put St Helens on the back foot, but an extra spin on it takes it out of play for a tap back on the 20.
Release, Sean!
Fayuma having come on there for Craig Kopchak. It's the first interchange that Huddersfield have made in this game so far, I think. Oh, this is good from Swift.
Oh,
it's just ankle tap by Brough.
He was away then, Swift, with support from making some desperate tackle by Brough, had to be made.
Go higher.
Third, release! Wait, goal 3.
Just about got there, just about got there. But it hasn't stopped St Helens' momentum, in as much as they're still troubling this Huddersfield defence. Manu with a strong carry. A couple of tackles still left to play here. And Walsh with a kick, and Robinson bumped in midair by Lomax, and there was almost an immediate apology from the St Helens fullback.
Yeah, he knew straight away, didn't he? He didn't go through the tackle. I think Luke Robinson will just get up on his feet and play on. Well done, Luke Robinson.
He's a tough little character, isn't he, Luke Robinson?
Lovely chip, but Luke Robinson reads it very, very well. He goes in. I could, you know.
Lomax realised straight away what he was doing, didn't he?
Was.
And as you said, he pulled out.
You know, he could have had a card, but you know, I think it's the right decision. And well played, this man, Luke Robinson. Just gets up, gets on with it. No dramas or diving.
It's also a relieving penalty from Huddersfield's point of view, because gives them an extra 20 yards before they have to start the muscular stuff which is provided in the first instance by Chan, who's tried to play it early here, and will get a penalty for the rolling and pushing that was going on. So back-to-back penalties here for Huddersfield.
Yeah, Flanagan. Soriola pushes him over. Well, not sure about that kick.
Hands straight off, boys. Come on, go.
Lunt again.
Move. Go.
Here's Lunt. Fayumu keeping them guessing right up to the last moment of impact before
release.
he chooses the direction he wants to go. Lunt to Robinson. Robinson on that right-hand side, and Murphy's out there, and he's made the gap here for himself. Lomax does well to get across. McGilvray was on the outside.
Yeah, should have given it.
Here comes Lunt, doing what he does so well. Has he managed to smother his way over? Phil Bentham's not sure. He doesn't know. So let's put it up to the video referee again here, Ian Smith. What news now?
We're checking the ground in. Does Sean Lunt get it down on the ground? Simple as. I think a camera from the side that we can't see there. There's nothing to show on that. It's very close. Yeah, this one. Nice and slow, please. Yeah, got it. It's still up. It's still up at this moment in time. Still up at this moment in time. We can't see that. Have you got anything different? Well, continue it. Continue it. We can't see that. Have you any different angles on that? We're still. Yeah, another one will do, please. Clint, have you seen anything when you got the? Sorry, Joe Cobb. Right.
When I got there, it definitely wasn't grounded.
It wasn't grounded when you got there, Phil. So it's not grounded. Right. At this moment in time, with no proof that it's grounded, that doesn't mean to say we can disallow it on that. But there's got to be enough evidence. Yeah, we've got this one. Nice. Yeah, if you can. Well, this one here will probably be the better one. Yeah. We're still waiting, Phil. We've not got the best replays yet, mate. We're just getting there. So, So nice and steady, nice and slow. There. The ball's on the ground there, and he definitely wasn't pushed back because you can see that he's over the line with his body. So just nice and steady, just slow it down there. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. I'm happy that his left hand is on the ball there. There's enough there. Yeah, no problem. So we're still going. Yeah, look, his hands on the ball. His hands on the ball. Yeah, that's a try. That definite try. Yeah, certainly benefited the doubt.
They'll like it. They were giving the video referee the slow hand clap a few moments ago and booing that he hadn't come to a quicker decision, but they'll forgive him now, those Huddersfield fans, because not to deny for a second time, Sean Lunt has been given the benefit this time, the benefit of the evidence. Ian Smith will say that was a good try and exactly what Huddersfield needed.
Yeah, I thought it was a very, very good try. Well worked move down the right-hand side. I thought Aaron Murphy could have put the winger over, but eventually they get that try.
So Danny Brough to try to add the 2, and for all that St Helens was sparkling in the opening stages of this game, he has put it wide. There are only 4 points in it right now. And what Brian Noble, himself a hooker of some redoubt, makes of this.
Well, he's a special player, Sean Lunt, and you just sniff that play. You see Lomax jumping out of dummy half there. He saw the opportunity, and wow, you've got to watch out when Sean Lunt's around.
Played with Huddersfield, of course, Sean Lunt in the Challenge Cup back in 2009. I think he had a similar try disallowed in that cup final, if memory serves.
Good run, that is. Very good run. Kaifusi.
So Huddersfield back in the competition, game on again. 28 minutes very nearly played. 4 points to them, 8 for St Helens. And it remains a cup tie in the balance here.
Yeah, 3 good drives there. Good yardage.
Fayumu. Here's Lunt. Stands and waits. It's Brough. Now Robinson. Now Murphy. Soliola's across there to deny him any ambitions of further progress. McGilvray at dummy half. This is the 6th tackle, so Brough will put it high and immediately goes jogging after this. Makinson's underneath it. Lawrence got a hold of him and pushed him back behind the net ball line. Never any intentions to challenge for that, Lawrence. It was all about pushing him back into the in-goal area.
Yeah, that's a great set by Makinson.
Look down to me, we just want to check the challenge.
Great take by Makinson. What a fantastic set. That's a lot better. Just the hard yardage made by the Huddersfield Giants forwards. Gets great field position. You know, for Danny Brough.
Well, just checking if there's a challenge in mid-air. The referee's given a goal line dropout, so nice and slow, please. So is he in mid-air when he catches him? So he jumps, he's still in mid-air, he tackles him before his feet come down. Phil, that's a penalty.
They're not going to like this. St Helens fans are, they love it, because they've got a penalty here.
Tackle in the air. Yep.
Borderline, but the right decision in the end.
Yeah, a couple of early tackles. You know, have robbed them of very, very good field position from good kicks by Danny Brough.
I think we can go down to the touchline again. Here's Damien Johnson.
Down here on the touchline.
Got confirmation.
Down here on the touchline, I've got Jacob Fairbank from a famous rugby league family. You may remember Carl, his uncle, played for Bradford Northern all those years ago. I sense there's a spring in the step of this Bradford team now. Huddersfield team, sorry.
Yeah, it's just what we needed now. Big set of 6 now, and hopefully we can keep on from what we've just got.
Terrific try from Sean Lunt, great upper body strength.
Yeah, it's good. He always pulls one out back for us to show.
Thanks a lot.
And wait.
Here's Roby.
Goal 3.
Roby.
Move. Hold.
Shot. Here's Walsh. He's back. He's back. He got an injured knee, but he's okay now.
Release.
Kyle Moore.
Square, Antonio. Goal.
They're nibbling at the yards here, rather than rampaging downfield, St Helens. So Walsh puts the kick high. Grix puts the arms out, catches it safely enough. McGilvray looking for a big return, but Walmsley's right up there. Wellens right up there in his face to make the tackle.
Two, release Anthony. Go.
Robinson. A little bit of a slip from Lawrence.
Yep.
Stand. Three. Go, three. Surrender, then you move it
Latest score, by the way, Halifax 10, Widnes 6. My word, that would be an upset.
4,
2 o'clock kickoff there, so there's a long way to go. Hull the Rovers 14, Warrington 10. Previous one, by the way, Halifax are a championship side and Widnes Super League, of course, and playing well this season, Widnes. And the 5th round draw following this match as Huddersfield looking to make progress downfield again. 5 tackles gone. Here comes the 6th. This is Danny Brough now. Again, it's one of those corkscrew type kicks of his, which Josh Jones watches out of play for a tap back on the 20.
Just overcooked a couple of kicks, Danny Brough. But they're getting some good yardage. Opportunities down the right-hand side. That's a lot better now, isn't it? First half possession has changed. They've dominated the last 10 minutes. Huddersfield field position. Haven't given penalties away. Kept on possession. They're back in the game.
Second, Michael.
Roby.
Third, hands out.
Anthony Walker is fresh from the interchange bench. Here's Roby again and Wellens. Still turning the clock back every week. Paul Wellens, his 468th St Helens appearance today.
Amazing achievement.
Good hit.
Good offload.
Good hit by Colfusi, but as you said, terrific by Amor to keep it alive. Just over 8 minutes remaining. St Helens on the 6th tackle again here with O'Hire. Grix bounces away from him, he's knocked it on. He's still not defused it, yes he has, but that was very, very untidy, and St Helens are given high hopes here.
That's very, very difficult for Grix. You know, the ball was bouncing, just watch a clever little kick on the last tackle, leaves it bounce, and it bounces into him. That's very awkward for Grix. A bit of luck for St Helens, good field position.
Not looking happy, Paul Anderson, the Huddersfield coach. His side under pressure here. He knows the mistake he's made there, Scott Grix, the Ireland international. He knows his side are under an awful lot of pressure as a result. St Helens poised. Roby. Here's Lomax. Turner. Roby again. And down this right-hand side where Lomax was waiting, but Danny Brough read that well.
Well played, Danny Brough.
Flying out of the defensive line.
Don't hold him in, don't hold him in.
Not even a millisecond of thinking time for Lomax.
He is like an extra half-back, isn't he, playing a full-back Lomax? As you said, he's played there a lot. Just reads the game so well.
Roby, it bounces off Walsh. And Ferris dives in and claims it. The referee has a good peer and says, yep, Huddersfield's ball. And that's a big lift, a big let-off for the Huddersfield Giants.
That's good pressure from the Giants.
Here's Broughton.
Three, see ya.
Antonio Kofusi.
I think they made a difference, haven't they, the Huddersfield Giants bench. Fayumu, Kafusi.
Ferris carries it in one hand, gets a good pass away to Wardle, and here comes Broughton to try and get the speed away. It's a good, quick thinking pass back on the inside. Look at this for hands. Terrific. Grix puts the kick through, and he's got the pace, has he? Jordan Turner just about gets there. Thrilling stuff from the Huddersfield Giants.
Yeah, great play by the Giants. Great hands. Good support play. Desperate defence. Soliola just gets to the ball first.
Well, they're turning it up in defence here, Huddersfield, to try and keep St Helens penned right there. 3 tackles gone. Saints struggling to get to the 20 metres. Well, this was terrific, wasn't
Great
it?
offload. 2-on-1. Tremendous. Tremendous play.
Wellens.
5, hands out, Chris.
Started as a scrum half, of course, Paul Wellens, but will be remembered As one of the great fullbacks of his generation.
Great take.
McGilvray.
One. Okay, James.
Here's Murphy. He's not played since the third week of the season, Aaron Murphy. Jody Broughton has taken his place on the wings, but in the absence of Cudjoe, he's getting a run today in the centres. Here's Kyle Wood from the interchange bench. This is Brough spinning it wide to Wardle. Winger had dropped back, Makinson in the anticipation of the kick, which...
Yeah, should have gone then, Dave.
Offered a hope there, but Wardle couldn't get the pass away. Good play by Turner.
Release. Go.
Wood. Now Brough again. This time it's low and sent shooting forward, and good hands from
taken.
Adam Swift.
Well taken and well met.
It's a high-quality game so far today. First in our Challenge Cup run. Nathan Brown's hoping that his side will be going all the way to Wembley in August. Just had the edge at the moment. Lomax.
That's a good run by Lomax.
Here comes Roby again. Ohio to his left, but Roby's going to have a go.
Release him. Go.
Rush, time to have a good look up, decide where he wants to put this ball. He tries to turn Grix, a biggish in-goal area, which Grix has to field that ball in and run it back and do some work here, but he's asking Broughton to do it instead, and Broughton's doing very well here. Jordan Turner with an important challenge in the end.
Yeah, nearly away.
Here's Brough. Just sensing a little disunity in the St Helens defence behind the rock. 2 tackles has taken Huddersfield back to within 10 metres of the halfway line. 3 takes them back inside St Helens territory. Here's Wood. Ferris, quick, good hands to Griggs. Griggs strikes away from one, gets it onto Wood. Wood has to duck and dive away from the cover, but keeps it alive. Out it goes to that right-hand side where Chan is waiting. Ohio's across there, but well, I was going to say doesn't make the tackle, but he did. He just held on.
Hang on.
This is Robinson. Murphy reaching for the line, doesn't quite get there. On tackle 5, they've gone the length of the field in 5 beats of the drum, but here comes the last. Robinson's kick. Turner, Wardle will score. It was a mid-air battle between Wardle and Turner, and the young Huddersfield centre wins out. Huddersfield get their second try, and it's all square again with half-time looming.
That is a great, great try. What a turnaround in the last 15 minutes. They've just played it simple, good yardage, and then they've gone wide. And what an exceptional kick to finish the set. And Wardle gets above Jordan Turner. Great play, great support play. They keep the ball alive. They don't panic. Chan just, I thought he was away there with desperate tackle. They don't panic. That's a lovely ball. That's the forward pass. Well, that's the one that started to move. Grix again, great play. And this is the finish. Pinpoint kick. It's a lot easier when you're running at the ball to get above the defender. Brilliant try.
He likes this competition, Joe Wardle. He made his debut for Bradford, his previous club in this competition. And in the meantime, the kick from Danny Brough is successful, and it means that Huddersfield, with near certainty, are going to go into the break with a lead by 10 points to 8.
I certainly turned it on. I said the impact off the bench has been very, very good. Fayumu, Wood, Kaifusi played a big part in the turnaround of fortunes in the last 15-20 minutes.
Well, we've got a minute of the first half remaining, and when St Helens led by 8 points to 0 with 14 minutes gone, I think the expectations were there of a big score in Saints' favour, the way the game started. But Huddersfield really have dug deep and got themselves not just back into this competition, but ahead in this competition.
Yeah, they're too good a side, aren't they, Giants? As I said before the game, when they're good, they are very, very good. But when they're bad, you know, they just they seem very, very flat, and that was the case in the first, 10, 15 minutes. Now it's a totally different side.
Well, they're looking for more. Here's chance. St Helens have got a job on here to try and keep this Huddersfield enthusiasm boxed up, and they're helped by the knock-on. Sure if we'll get the scrum here, because there are only about 9 seconds left to play.
And again, they have done very well going down the right-hand side. Tremendous first half. There's a game of two halves in the first half. That was certainly it. St Helens dominant in the first 20. Huddersfield Giants dominant in the second 20.
Let's hear what Earl Crabtree has to say all about that at the end of that first half. He's with Damien Johnson.
Yes, Earl's with me. What's your assessment of the way Huddersfield fought back, Earl?
Yeah, fantastic. I think the boys ripped in at the back end. They started to tire a little bit. They were winning the battle at the beginning, but as the game went on, they started falling off a few tackles. Hopefully that energy will bite them in the backside a little bit later on.
Thanks, Earl. Paul Wellens is with me too. Paul, disappointed the way you let Huddersfield back in?
Paul finished in the first half, sorry. It's probably our time's coming at a good time for us really to get back in the sheds and regroup.
It's pretty tough and tight.
It's tough out there, yeah, as you would expect against quality opposition, but we're still in there with a chance, so we'll keep fighting.
Thanks, Paul.
Well, Jonathan Davis said it at the end of that first half. It's been a half of two halves. There are your match facts. More possession for Huddersfield, more territory as well. Completed 74% of their sets compared to just 59% for Saints. That's basically 10 sets out of 17 that Saints have completed. Paul Sculthorpe and Brian Noble in the studio. What do you make of Earl's comment actually at the end there, Paul, that St Helens started with such verve and such vigour that maybe they tired themselves?
That's certainly how it looked. It was a half of two completely different quarters. Saints come out of the blocks and stormed into an 8-0 lead, but looked to tire. And as Huddersfield grew and grew in confidence as well, started bumping off the tackles of St Helens and certainly got themselves back into the game. And
Jonathan made the point in commentary, and I think you agreed with him as well, that Huddersfield's use of the interchange has benefited.
It was huge. I thought Kafusi, I thought Fayumu, Bailey made a huge difference to the output of the Huddersfield team. They looked after the ball a little bit, it got to their hand, and then they targeted St Helens' left-hand side defensively where Lancer High is, and they had a bit of joy, didn't they? They made a lot of meters, a lot of yardage, and then, as Paul says, the confidence grew. They were back in the game after the one score, and it's now a totally different game.
I suppose as well, if Saints started with more verve and vigour, they actually started the kicking game better, which is something that we discussed pre-match between Walsh and Brough, and Brough struggled earlier.
Yeah, not the best start for Danny Brough. Obviously, smart play from Mark Flanagan here to get the foot out and catch the ball on the full. But we spoke about the kicking game of both these two beforehand, and this kick from Danny Brough.
Just the wrong side.
Just the wrong side of the post, but both come up with a 40-20. Big plays for the teams at the right time, and this first one led to Saints' first try.
It did. That 40-20 from Luke Walsh then took us into the first try for St Helens, Brad.
Yeah, they got their field position through that kick, didn't they? And it was important that they capitalised on that at the start of the game with a bit of sketchy start from Danny Brough's kicking game. But here's the first try from Saints, and Luke Walsh highlights the people that are coming off the sideline and having to go to Huddersfield. But the key here is Lancer Higher. Luke Robinson, we see, and Jason Chan don't work together. Luke Robinson gets in front of the ball and past the ball, and it gives the opportunity for Higher to run into the gap that he creates, leaves Jason Chan behind, and then it's a great pass in itself for Lancer Higher to make this to Swift, because he's out there on the back. We see there McGilvray coming in to try and stop the play. Super Saints try and made by Lancer Higher.
I think we're seeing a different Lance as well this year. I think with having a genuine half-back, I think he was signed as a half-back, and he's not the kind of player that likes directing play. He's more of a running man, and I think that having Luke Walsh in the side this year has allowed him to do that. And
do you think he was unduly criticised then last year because of his lack of a partner?
Yeah, and I think probably coming in as well and playing numerous positions. He's played full-back, he's played hooker, he's played 7, he's played 6. It's difficult to find out, where he wants to end up, and I think certainly now at 6 with Luke in the team allows him to just play his own game.
Let's just take a look at the Walsh-Brough head-to-head. tackles are fairly even. More kicking though from Danny Brough. Would you expect that, Brian? I suppose you would.
Well, I mean, the last half a dozen kicks particularly were clever kicks and were concise kicks. We've seen ourselves that he started the game a little bit poor in relation to the standard of how he kicks the ball. Once he started kicking the ball well and they highlighted where they were going, I thought they looked a completely different team. And I can't emphasise enough the emphasis of David Fayumu. His first 4 or 5 carries, he beat the St Helens defender and gave them a ruck win so they could play a little bit quicker. And it made a huge difference to Danny Brough's kicking game, kicking off the front foot.
Do you think they also just needed to settle a little bit, those Huddersfield players, in the sense that they're coming into this game, they're the home side, they know they've had a difficult start to the season as Saints are flying, they just needed to settle and be calm?
I think so. It was obviously going to be a fast start to the game, and as Saints come out the blocks, you know, Kyle Amor, Alex Walmsley, you know, really taking it to them. But as you say, maybe that bit of fatigue set in after that 20-minute period, and Huddersfield just found their feet in the game. And as they got more and more into the game, the confidence grew, which gives you more energy anyway.
We had a perfect view of Saints' second try, didn't we, from Tommy Makinson, right down below as this was. He started it and finished it.
Well, just watch it. I mean, Walsh is the architect. He gets it out there to Jordan Turner, releases him. I think Huddersfield are pulled there. They should close the play down. But look at the number of blue shirts in the frame. We're highlighting Makinson here, who actually finishes the play. But there are 7 blue shirts in the frame to finish that play. Once they get the other side of the fence, St Helens, they're really difficult to stop. So as a defensive line, you've got to really encourage not let them get there. You've got the likes of Roby and you've got the likes of Manu, and you've got Makinson finishes here with his textbook dive into the corner. But that was a fabulous try, wasn't it?
Well, look, certainly has a distinctive finish, doesn't he?
Done it before, hasn't he? Well, certainly is. Jonathan Davis, whatever he says before the show, would have kicked that. I'm telling you.
It's certainly not in the coaching manual to put the ball down that way. Don't be teaching any young kids that way.
No. I would imagine if you're coaching kids, you would be furious.
Two hands,
for goodness sake, put it down with 2 hands. Huddersfield then got themselves back into it. We wouldn't have guessed 10-8 at half-time, would we? Their first try.
Well, I mentioned to Paul that I thought they were passive, but Robinson here comes from one side of the road and highlights O'Hire. Now he gives the centre Murphy the chance to run past him. So Lomax has to come into the frame to make the defensive play, and the coach will go balmy on that one because the threat is where the ball is, and Johnny Lomax has gone to try and get back into position. Lance O'Hire's gone away. There's the window of opportunity there for Sean Lunt, and he doesn't need those kind of windows. He can have a smaller window and still cause you problems. But he gets the ball down, as we saw from the other angle, which was a great finish from him. Smart play from Lunt. But Saints will be asking themselves about their marker defence there.
Is that another thing you would if you were coaching kids, don't turn your back?
Yeah, I mean it's difficult for Johnny there because obviously a fullback doesn't want to get caught at second marker, but you know at the time you've got to deal with the immediate, and his job should have been to make sure that the dummy half doesn't run. But it's easy to say from the commentary box, but yeah. Great spot from Sean Lunt and great strength to get the ball down.
And the momentum was completely with Huddersfield at this stage.
I was saying, as I said just there before we saw the footage, I thought Huddersfield were a little bit passive and Saints were happening to them. But the whole game changed, the momentum changed, and this kick from Robinson probably exemplifies it because the kicks weren't perfect, and Wardle, as Jonathan said in the commentary, he has the jump here on Jordan Turner. It's a great competition, and sometimes they go your way or they don't, but that's with the kick from Brough, that puts Huddersfield in front, and you would have talked about that after 25 minutes.
You wouldn't.
Thought we'd put the jinx on the goal kickers as well. Bruffy pulled us out of it there, talking the goal kickers up before the game, and they were none from 3.
Every time the kicks were missed, we just kind of looked at each other going, did we really big them up at the start? Let's just take a look at some of the key match facts from that first 45 minutes. Not much between the leading tackle. In fact, not much between any of those stats, is there?
Well, you
really?
look at it from most breaks down. What we see above is who's doing all the work in relation to tackling them, and maybe that Lance O'Hire having 14 is an indication of how they're trying to get to Lance O'Hire to make a lot of tackles. But the 3 stats below, most breaks, most runs from dummy half, most points kicked, you can't separate the teams. So there's a lot, and this game is finally balanced. As we've seen, Paul Wellens probably summed it up and said, well, they got us towards the back end of the half. We can regroup now and get back to what we were doing particularly well, and what they were doing well when Masoa, Amos started particularly well, Walmsley, winning the ruck in and around there and working Huddersfield around that middle part of the field and then going to the fringes. They'll need to want to go back to that.
I'll ask you both what both sides need to do in the second half very shortly. Both coaches will be earning their money at half-time. One man who is able to relax during our Challenge Cup coverage nowadays is that man, our very own Ray French. Still has his BBC jacket on. He'll be doing some work for local radio as well this afternoon. Giving his thoughts to somebody next. Can't shut Ray up. Once he gets going, he's away. I tell you what, let's treat you to some of his Challenge Cup thoughts.
My first ever trip to Wembley for the Challenge Cup final was as a youngster, 1953. My dad and some of his mates had arranged a steam train to take virtually all of the United Glass bottle workers down for the match. Saturday morning, Buckingham Palace, Leicester Square, Piccadilly, we had to see all the sights until finally we reached this famous place, Wembley. Saints, the favourites, red hot favourites, but Huddersfield did them. The problem for Saints was a 19 years old half-back called Peter Ramsden. He actually celebrated his birthday at that match, won the Lance Todd, became the youngest ever Lance Todd Trophy winner, but it was his 2 tries that really put Huddersfield on the way to victory. His first try in the 29th minute was probably one of the most contentious tries ever scored at Wembley. To this date in St Helens, it is still referred to as a double movement. St Helens had pulled back. Steve Llewellyn, the Welshman, had scored a wonderful try down the wing. Zangfield, the Saints scrum half, had also dropped a then 2-point drop goal. It was level, 10 apiece, 5 minutes to go. Who did the trick? Peter Ramsden again. And Huddersfield ran out the winners, 15-10. At the end of the match, I cried my eyes out. And my dad put his arm around me. He said, "Ray, don't worry, you'll be back and you'll win." And I was, and I did.
Beautiful. Plenty more of Ray's Challenge Cup memories throughout the course of the season. This is what's happening in the 4th round of the Tetley's Challenge Cup at the moment. Castleford winning at Batley, Bradford easily leading Oldham, Doncaster and Featherstone also. Surprise could be happening at Halifax. They lead Widnes of the Super League. Widnes in 4th. They've had a great start to the season, only being beaten once. They're losing 10-6 at Halifax. Cracking game at Hull KR, just a couple of points in it between themselves and Warrington. Hunslet and Keighley are winning. Lear up at Rochdale. Swinton 22-18 at York. It would be fair to say, I think, that Leeds are going to be in the hat for the 5th round. They are thrashing Wakefield at the moment, and that draw for the 5th round follows the full-time whistle here at Huddersfield. Dave Woods will be in charge of it. You will find out who your side gets at the conclusion of this game. And you can see all the highlights from all of those games on the Super League show. If you live in the north, you can see it on BBC One on Monday evening at 5 to midnight, across the country on BBC Two Tuesday lunchtime at 1 o'clock. And when we look at that Saints dressing room, what will Nathan Brown be saying to them?
I think to get back to what they were doing, right in the first 20 minutes, complete them sets, get the good kicking game. Let's turn the arm wrestle. Let's get Huddersfield coming off their line in defence. I think get the aggression back. Stop getting bumped off by the Huddersfield players and stop the offloads.
How difficult is it when you've started with the momentum and then you lose it to get it back? Can half-time be a help? I
think half-time has come at a good time for St Helens. Like they say, they can regroup. They can have a breather and hopefully start the second half how they started the first.
And from a Paul Anderson point of view, then Brian, what I mean, more of the same. I'm assuming that's all he's got to say. Is it?
Took the words out of my mouth. I was probably just about to say that, but I think their footwork at the line really helped them get some ruck wins. That means speed of the play of the ball helped their game, allowed them to kick better and allowed them to promote the ball to the fringes better. So I think Paul would have reinforced that message about not waiting for St Helens to come towards them. They took different steps and different stride patterns when they certainly had a lot better field positions. So they'll be confident, but all bets are off because both teams will be starting again this second half and putting their plans into place as to how they wanted to play at the start.
Well, we're quite often guilty in the media of overhyping everything, the minutest thing, but given how they've started this season, how big a 40 minutes is this ahead for Huddersfield?
It's obviously this will have been one of their goals from the start of the year was pinpointing a Challenge Cup win, and very much the same going in at half time. So it's massive for their season and for Saints. You know, for both teams, this would have been one of the main targets of the year.
Because one of the things I think they've spoken about as well is that they've struggled a bit, haven't they, with the expectation of being the Shield winners. That then they are here to be shot at.
And it's that trapdoor element of this competition. You can't afford to make any mistakes, but you treat it a little bit separately. Yeah, there's a lot of expectation on St Helens as well. We've not spoken about that because they're leaguers.
But they've dealt with that over the years.
Yes, but this is a new team with a new half-back partnership that's been untested. I suppose the aspect of test for St Helens is that they've won 7 and they haven't been under pressure in a tight game like this. I think it's who reacts to the pressure the better this second half.
Saints are out, as you can see, still waiting for Huddersfield to come out. John Wilkin either should be playing or should be part of our team. He's neither. He's talking to Damien.
John, how did the conversation go at half-time in the Saints dressing room?
Yeah, I think we're very pleased with how we started the game. First 20 minutes, obviously, we were on top. I thought we really let the speed of the game fall in Huddersfield's favour, and by the back end of the first half, you know, they were controlling the speed of the game, playing the ball very quickly, and it caused us a few problems. So we're just looking to wrestle some control back, make sure our contact's great and our ruck defence is spot on.
What's needed to break the game open, do you think?
I think we just need to take our opportunities. Our opportunities will come when you've got Luke Walsh in your team. Opportunities will come. It's for our outside backs to take those opportunities.
Thanks, John. To the commentary box, Dave Woods.
There's a fine drizzle falling at the moment as well. Not sure how that's going to affect things in the second half, Jonathan.
Yeah, it might be a bit slippery on the surface, but yeah, John Wilkin is right. Both the first 20, St Helens took control of the game, and with that control they scored the points, and then it was similar with the Huddersfield Giants in the second 20 minutes. So it'll be interesting to see who has the momentum at the start of the second half.
Off we go. Tommy Makinson, we're ready, they're ready. It should be a cracking second half here between two sides of high pedigree who've produced some really good moments, each of them so far, but they've each produced moments they'd rather forget at times as well. Who is going to get over the line first?
There we are. Kaifusi and Fayumi making an impression straight away. You know, 2 plays the ball, now 3 play the ball, nearly in the 40-metre line. It makes it so much easier for Danny Brough then and Robertson.
Moving ominously through Bailey inside the St Helens half in this opening minute. Should finish in a decent position to get a kick away here. In fact, Robinson rather is going to go for the kick on the 5th tackle, and it's a very good finish to a very efficient opening set from Huddersfield Giants.
And what a difference, yeah, what a difference from the start of the first half, where they went lateral and didn't get field position, put the halfbacks under pressure, and Robinson just puts a little kick in. Great set for Huddersfield Giants.
So head and feed here for St Helens. Luke Walsh is going to feed. We heard what John Wilkin had to say was going on in the St Helens dressing room at half-time. What news from the Huddersfield dressing room at half-time, Damien Johnson?
Well, Paul Anderson, the Huddersfield coach, described it as like 2 heavyweight boxers going toe-to-toe. He told his players to think about pressure, not points, in the opening stages of the second half. Keep turning over the ball, make sure we play in their half of the pitch. Pressure, pressure, pressure. It's all about enjoying it too. Hard to do that with a tight Challenge Cup tie.
Kyle Amor is still looking a little unhealthy out there, isn't he? He was very sluggish up from that last play, the ball. He got the bang on the knee, to remind you, in the first half.
Jason!
Hobbling, no, a shake of the head. I don't think he's going to be carrying on here. Here's Walsh with a kick downfield.
He's off.
Which Jody Broughton should have covered and does. Safety first in the in-goal area. Pick up off the bounce, and it's a solid line of blue from St Helens defenders all up there. And might just have seen the last here of Kyle Amor today, which would be a real shame. The big Cumbrian.
Help! Release, Lance!
Here's Robinson. Little dash from him, from Donny Hart. Grix moving up there. It's nice stepping play. Bailey, Chris Bailey, the Australian who was at London last year, signed in the off-season. Robinson again, just threatening to go through. It's Walker who made that tackle, and Brough will just roll it through, and Lomax takes it off the bounce. Bruff's after him. Wood's up there too. In the end, it's Bayumu who makes the tackle, but St Helens being forced to work hard from deep inside their own territory again here, making some running into Ohio.
Release!
It's made it a little easier.
Yeah, we're not happier with, if you're Anderson, with the sets and how they've completed them.
Goal 3.
It was a knee problem in the first half. It looks more like a chest problem for Carlin, or are they just... I think this might be the GPS system they're just reapplying. All the players out there, you might notice 1 or 2 bumps on backs on the shoulder blades. Oh, there's a kick which is blocked by Wardle and played at by Wardle.
Oh, definitely.
So another set of 6. And here's Ohio showing the dummy. They've got little bumps on the backs and the top of the shoulder blades. Those are the GPS systems they wear, which tells the coaches and coaching staff everything that's going on physiologically on the field. They're measuring heart rates, they're measuring fatigue, they're measuring what they do, how quickly they do things.
I think that's what
you can see it.
I think Carlin was hurt his ribs.
Soliola, spoiling a good story, Jonathan. Out of play it goes. It's Huddersfield who congratulate themselves for having forced the fumble.
Well, they've had a good start to the second half. Good pressure, you know, pressurising Luke Walsh as well, pressurising Soliola as well. So, good start for Huddersfield Giants.
It's tight, it's tight. Okay.
He's just having a word with Fayuma, I think.
Heads
Something
in,
or other.
fellas. Out.
Just to recap today's game, Golden Gamble winning numbers.
Here's Chan.
1. Okay, lads.
Papua New Guinean international. It's picked up by Wood and quick hands, and Robinson suddenly has it, and a little burst of enterprise from the scrum half who's lost the ball but had it stolen. The referee gives a penalty for Huddersfield.
I think Lomax had a little hand in there. That's a one-on-one, isn't it? Well, he's on the floor. I think the tackle was complete, Dave, wasn't it?
It's obviously what the referees decided, so the penalty goes Huddersfield's way here. They're going to take the tap, they're going to have a quick run, a quick blast here in the first instance from Fayumu.
Great feat, isn't he?
Burst of expectation from the Huddersfield fans, and there's more to come here, you rather fancy, as Perez carries it in with real determination. 3 St Helens defenders making sure he's going no further, but they're only a couple of yards away from the line. And it's an urge and a search here, and then the offload by Korfusi. Robinson with the juggle. Where's he going? Here's Murphy. Murphy back on the inside. Runs into one, bounces away. Still going here, Aaron Murphy.
Move!
It's a good effort. McGilvray. Chan. Bouncing on the balls of his feet.
4. Release, lads.
Kyle Wood moves in there. Plenty of tackles in the bag here for Huddersfield. Well, at least 2 to go anyway. Swung across to Bruff. Bruff with a short pass. It's knocked on. Korfusi and St Helens have possession back again. Opportunity there, Jonathan.
Yeah, they had opportunity. I think the offer under the post, they had numbers on the right-hand side, but just couldn't release the ball to get it out to the outside backs. Missed opportunity there for the Giants.
Go. Not square,
There's
not
the knock
square.
on.
Well, that's good by Turner. And what about the pass? Terrific from Jordan Turner. The real burst in the first instance, but then the flick pass to Makinson as well. Soliola, he's doing well. He's gathering a little momentum here, St Helens. Roby's off and running. This is Wellens.
Great tackle, Robinson.
Here's Roby again. Wormsley's running into a bit of space. He gets the pass away, that's fine. It's flung across to this left-hand side where it's taken on a stride or 2 by Flanagan before he's floored by the Huddersfield defence. Last tackle in this set. Walsh again. High and hanging. Should be easy and is very easy for Jody Broughton.
Very easy for Broughton.
And Walsh is going to be too happy with that kick. No, they let Huddersfield off the hook, didn't they?
Yeah, he did. A little bit too far. Not enough height. Very easy for Broughton.
Here's Grix.
Substitution for the Huddersfield Giants in association with Head of Honda.
Earl Crabtree winding himself up, winding the crowd up as he does as well. 31 years of age these days, Earl Crabtree. Longest serving player here by a distance of those who are out there on the field today.
4, move, Paul.
Used to be a safety steward here at the this stadium, Earl Crabtree. You wouldn't argue with him, would he?
No, you wouldn't.
5, release. Go.
We'll give you the updates of the other scores in just a second, but let's have a look at that. Oh, that's a forward pass.
Yeah, forward.
That was a mile forward from Danny Brook.
It was. Yeah, miles forward.
Forward pass, yeah.
So some of the other scores, you can see that Widnes look to be back in control at Halifax. There's not long left in these games. 2 o'clock kickoffs, remind you. Warrington back in front
Set it up, Luke.
at Hull Kingston Rovers.
Ready.
And the 5th round draw after this match
First,
on BBC Two, on this channel. Don't have to change channels, you don't even have to change seats if you don't want to. We'll bring it all to you.
2, move. Go.
This is Roby. St Helens trailing by those 2 points, having started so strongly in this game. They looked terrific in the opening 14 minutes. Undone by Huddersfield in the latter period of that first half. Wellens.
4, okay, Earl.
Total substitution
Roby.
for St Helens in the association
Walmsley
with
lumbering forward again.
number 23, Joe Greenwood.
Last
Number
tackle.
14, Willie Manu. Replaced number 25,
Out it goes.
Anthony Walker. And number 11.
Walsh putting it high. There's a little bit of a stumble there. Makinson got a hand to it, could only push it forward. I think it's Griggs who's come up with it in the end.
Well, they'd be happy with that, Huddersfield Giants. Again, not a threatening kick
1, move.
by Luke Walsh.
Hold.
Put them in the corner though, didn't it? Put
Yeah,
Huddersfield
he
in the
did.
corner.
Surrender.
So they are just struggling a little to get out of their own territory here, Huddersfield. That moves a bit forward as well. Here's Bailey. Spinning it back to Robinson. Robinson.
David Fayou.
3, release.
3 tackles eventually.
Go, boys. Hold. Go, 3.
Danny Brough is behind the 40-metre mark.
It's way too big.
He's not
isn't
very
it?
happy with that, is he?
No, no. But again, get the defensive line in place.
Hold the middle
That
here.
1953 Cup final that Ray French was telling us about at half-time, the Peter Ramsden final. The last time Huddersfield won this famous old competition. That year, they've been in finals since, of course, most recently when they were beaten by St Helens in 2006 at Twickenham and by Warrington in 2009 at Wembley. But it's been a long time between cheery drinks by Huddersfield in terms of this competition. They won the League Leaders' Shield last year, the first time in over 8 decades that they achieved that particular title.
Quite this game, hasn't he? Willie Manu has not seen a lot of the ball. Very dangerous ball carrier in the offloads.
Wellens, that's not a good pass from him. Just Jones and O'Hire. Not sure who was going to take it. Jones in the end decides he's going to take responsibility here. 42nd consecutive game here today for Josh Jones.
Hold, Craig. Go,
Extraordinary run. On the last, Walsh puts it high.
Again, that's a little bit too far, but
Griggs is underneath it. Oh, it's an awkward bounce. It's going to be taken by Turner and then Manu. Willie Manu, has he squeezed in?
I don't think he has.
So many questions. Well, the referee's having a second look here. No, he's not going to give it. He's not going to give it.
He's always going to go to the video ref, isn't he?
Well, he's going to have a word with the touch judge first. Clint Sherrod is a touch judge on that far side who says everything's okay with the pass. Phil Bentham has a think.
Just grounded.
And then decides he's going to
please, on the kick,
offer it upstairs.
and then the grounding. Oh, well, he's held up
Onside, offside and the grounding. Here's Ian Smith, the video referee.
So it's from the kick to start with, please, the onside, offside. So if you could pause it on his foot. So if you can pause it there.
Yeah, it is the last.
Right, so we've got Lomax down here. These 3, yeah. Run it through. Wait, yeah, I'm okay. Lomax stays out. So just go back again to the kick, please, Ken. Just let me track the players again. Yeah, just go back to the kick again. Just pause it on his foot there, so just let me track. Right, so number 22 and number 9 are in front. So run that through, please. So where does he go? Where does he run? He runs. Pause it there. Yeah, so that's him waiting for the ball. Yeah, just jog it back, please, to where the ball bounces. Just make sure that he's in front. Go there. One more frame, please. Go forward. There. He's within 10. It's no try penalty. No try penalty, Phil. He's within 10 metres.
Well, no try. It is the rule. It is the rule. It is probably the most frustrating rule in rugby league. On that occasion, the law's an ass, frankly.
I think he might have been about 9.5 yards.
I mean, within the letter of the law, you know, Ian Smith gets it absolutely spot on, and had he not disallowed the try, then he'd have made the wrong decision to the letter of the rule. But if ever a rule needed changing, I mean, what interference did he have there?
None whatsoever.
So it is no try. 11.5 minutes of the second half played. It remains Huddersfield in the lead by 10 points to 8. Now, there's no certainty he'd scored anyway, because we would have run it through to see if the grounding was okay, so there's no certainty there. But here come Huddersfield. Jones comes in to make the tackle on Chan.
Hold, goal 2.
Here's Kopchak.
Third, move. Wait, he's already got him.
Kyle Wood off and running from dummy half again, and looks left to Robinson, and the short pass to Ferris, who wants to bowl it out, and he had support, but it's gone to ground. Wardle couldn't quite gather it in.
That was a great line by Wardle there, looking for the offload.
Just nearly. Instead, it's St Helens who have it back.
Hold, goal 1.
Lomax.
2,
It's tight and tense. 2 points in it. The middle section of this second half is looming large now. Greenwood carries it in.
Well done, mate.
Just like our guest in the studio, Paul Sculthorpe, an Oldham lad, Joe Greenwood. St Helens making decent ground here. They've got a couple of tackles to play with. Roby looks to the left-hand side where O'Hire is waiting, and O'Hire takes on that line again, but this time there wasn't a gap. So on the last, Jones, caught in two minds by Robinson's run. Then realised it was a sixth. So give it to Walsh. He's the specialist on the sixth tackle. A high kick from Makinson to try and pat back, but he can't keep it in play.
I think he's going to be unhappy with his kicking, Luke Walsh. He's just gone a little bit too far on the last 3 occasions. Quality kicker. Very difficult for his outside backs, though.
Wood waiting. If he goes now, looking down that blind side for support from Wardle. Ferris. Get off me. And Ferris just gets another couple of cheeky strides downfield before he plays the ball as well. 4 tackles gone. Huddersfield still inside their own half. Bruff. Now Chan coming back on the angle. Wormsley stepped in there to make the challenge. And away by Wood from dummy half, and that's a good kick, a very good kick from that position.
Well, Anderson, of course, will be very happy how they're completing these sets, and where, more importantly, as he said, you know, where they're finishing. He wants to play the game in the St Helens quarter, and that's certainly been the case in the first 14.5 minutes.
You can't get much more balance than that, can you, Territory? And a thoughtful Paul Anderson.
Out.
Here's Roby. Who do you fancy from here, John?
Release, Joe!
How do you see this unfolding?
Oh, mate, hold, go.
At the moment, you have to say that momentum and the control of the game is with the Huddersfield Giants, but we all know how quickly that can change in this game. You know, 2 quality sides. Discipline has been good in the second half as well, so they haven't just I'm saying that. Commentators curse, and that's what'll happen now. We haven't had an easy penalty where, you know, they've given field position. This will be the first opportunity. How sloppy that is. And let's see what happens from this. That is the difference. Small margins are the difference. Now they'll have field position.
Well, it's still raining. The sun is out as well. There'll be a rainbow somewhere, and at the end of it, the pot of gold is a Wembley final, and one of these two sides will fancy their chances. Win today of going the distance, but win today is the first big task. Roby rolling in to that half-back position again. Here's Walsh offering it in for young Alex Walmsley.
Always with yards, isn't he, Walmsley?
Product of the Championship, Alex Walmsley. There's one or two knocking about in Super League now.
Well played, Fairless, read that well.
Really tore up a few trees playing for Backley a few years ago, Alex Walmsley, and caught the eye of a number of clubs. Could have had his pick of about 6 or 7. Chose St Helens. Here's Roby at dummy half. This is O'Hire. Walsh, inside pass. Hammered forward by Greenwood. But this is the last now. So on to Walsh again. The kick. Broughton will fancy his chances here. It's another simple one.
Yeah, and you could see he was angry with himself there, Walsh. Shouted at himself. Far too easy for the Huddersfield Giants just to stop that movement. Just a little bit too far. Easy for Broughton.
Where's that gone? Where's that gone? Player in the way.
Yeah.
Harsh as it may be, Walmsley not able to get out of the way, but it is incumbent on him to try to get out of the way. So
and again,
if it's not a clear play the ball, it's his fault. Penalty.
2 penalties now. Look, this now gives Huddersfield field position.
Brough, Kopchak standing tall in the tackle, but 3 players around him, making sure there's never even a hint of an offload. Robinson gets the pass away, and here comes Griggs. Right, left, steps off the right foot, support there, finished by Lunt, the poacher. I don't think he's been back on the field that long, has he? Oh, hang on. Touch, as I say here. Joseph Cobb.
Time off. Just an obstruction, yeah.
Obstruction is what they're looking
Checking,
at.
fellas, if there's an obstruction, please, in the build-up to that.
Obstruction. Let's hear from Ian Smith, the sole arbiter in this instance.
We're looking for obstruction. So, does he catch the ball on the outside? He does. Does he run an outside to him? Can you just jog that one back, please? Just how the lead runner runs across. So, nice and slow this, please, nice and slow. So the angle that the lead runner is coming through there, he's running the right angle. Does the man catch the ball on the outside shoulder? He does. He goes through the gap. There is nothing wrong with that. If you can go to the grounding, please. Just run this through. Just run. Yeah, we're happy with that. He grounds it fine. That's a try.
That is a brilliantly executed try. Brilliantly executed try. The dummy runner of Chan holds the defence. Griggs goes through. Great support by Lunt.
Well, he's had a nervous afternoon, hasn't he, Sean Lunt? 3 times the video ref has had to adjudicate on whether he scored or not, and twice he will say Ian Smith has got it right, because he's got 2 out of the 3 in his favour. And that might be a big moment here, because it's a 6-point gap all of a sudden. And if Brough kicks this, an 8-point gap, and that is a 2-score difference, it means that St Helens would have to score twice to get themselves back in the lead. And over it goes from Brough. 16 points to Huddersfield, 8 for St Helens. Are they inching closer here, Huddersfield, to a place in the next round? Brian Noble.
Well, take a bow, Jason Chan. The timing of his run on an inside shoulder tracks Lance O'Hire, which releases Griggs through the hole. He does the rest. Lunt backing up on the inside, as all good number 9s do, but Jason Chan really deserved a slice of that cake from attracting 2 defenders.
Yeah, for all youngsters watching the game, that's how you run a dummy run, you know. It's very, very important. The dummy run of Chan created the opportunity for that opening, which a try was scored.
Paul Sculthorpe, how much character does St Helens have to show now?
Oh, they've got to get back on top. You know, they'll be certainly disappointed with Luke Walsh with the last few kicks. You know, 8 points behind. We've got to take the opportunities and certainly finish with good kicks that either get points or repeat sets.
There goes Lunt, so he's lost the ball. It's touched by a St Helens hand, played up by St Helens, so it's back to 1. Lunt was clever there because had he carried on that run in the direction he was going, there was an obstruction just developing.
Second, release, Willie!
Kopchak, who was just running ahead of him.
Hold! Release! Third, go!
Remember, St Helens scintillating this season, 7 wins out of 7. And they have been magnificent within that run as well. But today, Huddersfield, who've been up and down, are very much on the up. Robinson! Flanagan came across, tracked him all the way.
Well,
dragged him down.
They've been in control the second half, you know, definitely in control. And as Paul said,
good hands by Walsh here. Walsh with a step, and off he goes! Oh, important tap by Griggs. Just managed to flick his boot. Otherwise, Walsh might have gone the distance, and then there's a little bit of a disagreement.
McGilvery got involved there, made the tap, but the ankle tap was vital.
Go, Clint. Okay, mate. Cheers. It's all right. I'm going to go with it, Ian, I think. For me...
There's the run. Lovely ankle tap.
Yeah. Wouldn't allow it. I can't allow it to roll because we held him down for too long.
He loses the ball, but just doesn't lose.
Okay. Is it just here? Yeah. Okay, boys.
I think it's play on. Now it'll be a penalty. He didn't do anything wrong there, did he? I don't think there was much in that.
What's your reaction? What's your reaction?
Not sure what McGilvery was guilty of there.
No, me.
St Helens aren't bothered, they get the penalty, and they need something. Just over an hour played now. Big effort forward by Flanagan in the first instance. 30 metres out. St Helens with 5 tackles to go. Huddersfield needing to hang on in this set. They do not want to give their opponents any sniff of an opportunity. Walsh again to Lomax, to O'Hire. Now it's Turner. He can make things happen, but not this time. Not this time. Groff and Wardle sorted out. O'Hire. Willie Manu. Into a cluster of defenders. Not really any threat of him going much further. Roby spins it away to Walsh. Walsh with a short pass. Just about held on by Greenwood.
Yeah, well taken. I don't think that pass was meant to him.
Penalty.
Offside they were.
6 tackles to have a real go at this Huddersfield line. And here's Mossy Mousseau. He's the last fella you want to see running at you from that distance. Yeah. Look how many he took with him. 4 of them.
And they've slowed it down, slowed to play the ball now.
Webby with a short pass. It's a bludgeon their way over, but Huddersfield still hanging on, working overtime here on their own line. Roby again. Mousseau was the dummy runner this time out. It goes to O'Hire. O'Hire wide to Turner. Turner off one palm. Steps away from Brock. Gets a pass away to Makinson, who's desperate with the ball back in the inside to Lomax. It's another set of 6. Yeah. Touched out by a Huddersfield player.
Good defence, though.
Penalty for St Helens. Penalty. They're losing it a little here, the Huddersfield defenders.
Yeah, they've got to keep their composure.
And talking
now.
out of turn takes them 10 yards further downfield.
I don't think it makes much of a difference.
How come though? Hold him down, mate.
Not give him to them, though.
Hold him down.
Danny Brough complaining there's an imbalance in the decision-making by the referee.
Well, they've conceded 10 penalties. Huddersfield only 5 for St Helens.
There you go, 10 penalties to 5. The last thing Huddersfield need is for Danny Brough to get into an argument with the referee. He has a tendency to do that every now and again. Here comes Walsh, throws it back to O'Hire. O'Hire with a dummy, Robinson ahead of him, and Chan there as well.
He loves that little slow, little late dummy, doesn't he?
Key moment in the game here. St Helens get over, it's really back on. Huddersfield keep them out, they can pat themselves on the back and feel that it's very nearly job done maybe. Roby. Smothered. Lunt knew what was coming. Made sure it didn't happen the way that Roby had planned it. O'Hire again. Walsh. Here's Lomax. Stepping. Just a little bit. Lunt's at attack, and he's gone on his head. And this is where it takes off. Well, it looked nasty, didn't it? Looked nasty.
Well, this could be crucial. This could be a card or report. If it's a card, I think he was okay. He got up and reacted to the tackle, but it's a silly tackle. It's a very silly, dangerous tackle. That's ridiculous tackle.
Well, Johnny Lomax wears the head guard because of a very, very nasty injury he suffered as a schoolboy. And he wears the head guard.
That's very, very dangerous.
He wears it as an emblem, really. It was as a result of that injury that Johnny Lomax suffered as a schoolboy that led to all schoolboys wearing a helmet.
That could be.
There's a card coming up. It's a red card! Red card for Brett Ferris. Huddersfield are down to 12. And you have to say, he cannot complain at that.
He cannot complain. I had no idea what was going through Brett Ferris's head. Even when he was up there, he could have had a minute, pause, and just put him down. You know, he could have just held him up there enough time not to put him on his head.
Double checking. A lot of rugby league fans will be aware of the horrific injury that the young Newcastle prop in Australia, Alex McKinnon, has suffered in recent weeks as well.
Such a dangerous tackle.
When you see things like that, it does make your blood run cold, doesn't it? But hopefully he's okay. He looks to be okay. Here's Mossy Messiah pushing that Huddersfield line that is one short in defence now, and a big hole there with Ferris missing.
This will be a big set. If they can hold out Huddersfield.
Roby. O'Hire. This is Jones trying to go on the outside of Murphy, who's done well to grab hold of his man and spin him down. O'Hire again. Flanagan straightening things up here. Huddersfield fans trying to get behind their side here to lift them if they can in defence. Walsh right up to the line. They've got the numbers here now. They've got the numbers for Makinson.
Great finish.
Tommy Makinson seems to do that every week. He loves the spectacular, and he's done it again. Second of the day for Tommy Makinson, and St Helens are right back in it.
Well, a moment of madness by Brett Ferris. Makinson goes in at the corner.
He's an absolutely sensational finisher, Tommy Makinson.
I think it's Turner that creates this, though. Just watch, ball comes out. Just watch. Takes two defenders. Brilliant finish again, brilliant finish. But Jordan Turner takes two defenders, the one-handed offload, which creates the try.
And of course, that's the side that that Ferris defends as well, isn't he? He's
yep.
The left.
Man short on the left-hand side. You make it pay.
What a season he's having, by the way. Tommy Makinson. 10 tries, 8 appearances, 10 tries. And some of them have been absolute eye-catchers. Walsh with a kick from the touchline.
Great kick.
He has nailed it. He's put it over. 16 points for Huddersfield, but now St Helens are in their shadow with 14 points of their own. Brian Noble.
Well, it's a great finish from Makinson, as we'll see here, but Walsh deserves a slice of the cake as well, because he goes at the line and holds some defenders up with Manu, who makes it a difficult ask on the outside. But Turner, take your hat off to him. He attracts the two defenders and the winger. Makinson, not an easy finish, brilliant finish.
You'd have to say no, Dave, that favourites clearly St Helens. 14 minutes, 30 minutes left.
Once again, we'd just like to say a big thank you.
There he goes, there he goes. Well, we talked earlier with Paul Sculthorpe talking about what kind of characters St Helens. They've knocked on, they've knocked on. Oh, Crabtree has forced a knock on. We talked about the character St Helens have to show, but It's a question now of the character that Huddersfield have to show.
Yeah, knock on, trying to get a quick play of the ball. I think Huddersfield now, if they don't come away with a try in this set, right, they have to try and come back with a repeat set. That's what they're going to have to do now, is control the ball and finish their sets and try and get repeat sets. Play the clock down. If they don't get points, they play the clock down with repeat sets.
Heads in, 5 in there. Okay, pal.
11.5 minutes to play, and Huddersfield still have the lead here, but they're a man short.
Move, Jordan!
Wardle. Here's Brough. Bailey.
2, move! Hold, go 2.
Up and plays. Lunt. Oh, Brough. It's gone behind, it's gone backwards though. Collected by Robinson, who'll scuttle back towards the danger area.
Move! Hold 10!
Lunt.
Wait. Go 3.
Plenty of numbers on this left-hand side where Brough is waiting as the pivot with a short pass, and that's Wardle who's trying to force his way through. And St Helens defence, their turn to hang on here. They can't afford to concede again. For all that they have that man advantage. This is Crabtree, turns and spins to Grix, and Grix to Chan, and Chan goes back against the grain of that covering defence, but not against the grain of Greenwood, who makes the tackle. Lunt again, short, Kopchak drops it. Kopchak drops it.
He was in as well. Kopchak was in there. Great run, lovely ball by Lunt, and he was over. It'd been difficult to stop him.
Hand over, yeah. Wait, pal, wait.
Yeah, he was nearly there.
He would have been there, wouldn't he? Get a big tackle by Johnny Lomas to stop him in that position.
Here's O'Hire.
2, release Luke.
Comes on a forward pass, Flanagan galloping on. 10 minutes of the contest remaining, and it remains unsettled. This is Manu. Just as we expected here today, 2 top quality teams. He's touched, another set.
Six, yeah. I think
6 more tackles for St Helens, and another little moment that might just be proof of this match turning in favour of St Helens here. Roby. Soriola. They were involved in a very tight and tense game last week, St Helens, when they scored at the death against Leeds to win it in the Super League. Roby has gone without the ball. He's gone without the ball. The referee says play on.
That's a great tackle, though.
Lunt takes it on. Huddersfield look as though they're out on their feet. Crabtree looks out on his feet down there.
Well, they've got to complete their sets now.
Big effort forward. They need these big efforts now from the 12 that remain on the field. Bailey back on the inside. It wasn't read by his support. Lawrence picks it up.
They don't need to push it now.
Now you see Warrington have won at Hull Kingston Rovers. And the 5th round draw coming right after this. We say right after this. Witness do as well to remind you. We could yet have golden point extra time here. St Helens get a penalty. Decide to kick for goal. It might take us into golden point extra time. We've seen one of those already this weekend when Salford, in the most dramatic of circumstances, beat Hull on Thursday night, 37-36. If you don't know the story of that game, make sure you watch the Super League show Monday night, 11:55 BBC in the North, and lunchtime BBC 2 across the nation on Tuesday.
First, move, Joel.
Roby. Here's Manu.
Second, okay, Chris.
Both sides just getting a little oxygen in the tank again here. Winding themselves up for this last 8 minutes. Huddersfield clinging on by their fingertips at the moment. St Helens looking to batter this door down. Roby again. O'Hire. Jones gets it away to Swift. Swift stepping back on the inside. Huddersfield defenders are there in numbers.
Yeah, the inside defence is getting lazy now. Gaps opening on the inside.
Walsh back to Turner. Turner puts the kick ahead and will go chasing after this.
Grix is there.
Grix is there, but is he going to get out of the in-goal area? No, he's not. Turner's got the tackle in. It needed that after that kick. It's Huddersfield's dropout underneath the sticks. They're going to face an onslaught in this next set now.
This next set, They are looking tired. Crabtree, I think, is going off.
Big set to come. Huddersfield will be trying to slow things down as much as they can here.
Silver's off as well. I think Walmsley's back on.
33 tackles for Earl Crabtree today, top of the list. Danny Brough with a kick. Ohio's underneath it, has caught it safely. First job done for St Helens. Soliola runs it back, but he's only just inside Huddersfield's half when the defence comes up to meet him. 5 tackles to go from here. Walmsley. Big effort by him. But this is really gutsy stuff from the Huddersfield defence at the moment. Flanagan, next man in. Roby, as Saints move on the 4th tackle here. There's Wellens. That is tackle number 4. 2 tackles to go. Have to score a try here, St Helens, to get themselves ahead. Walmsley, held up just short. He's lost that. Penalty! Penalty for St Helens. Now this is, and I was going to say it's a big shout here, what do they do? But Nathan Brown immediately says kick for goal, because this is surely unmissable, and this would make it all square again.
I would kick, yeah, I would take the 2 points, make it a, all level on the scoreboard. They'll get the ball back, and with the extra man, that is definitely interference there. That's a penalty. There he goes, 2 points, just kick it, get level. They don't have to chase the game then.
And Danny Brough having a chat with the referee again here. He's clearly not happy with that decision. So just to remind you, and we're not getting too far ahead of ourselves, because you'd expect Luke Walsh to kick this. If he does put it over, scores all square. 5 minutes left to play, just over. But if it stays all square after 80 minutes, we go into extra time when they play 10 minutes each way, but it is golden point. So whoever scores first at whatever stage of that extra time, they will win the game, if we get there. Walsh has done the first job. It's 16 for Huddersfield, 16 for St Helens. Not many nails will survive this next 5 minutes. Bitten to the quick now, Jonathan Davis.
Yes, and this is all about field position, no? All about field position.
Keep it tidy, lads. You've got to keep tidy.
Danny Brough looking for the touchline if he can find it. Oh, it's a testing kick. It's a terrific kick from Danny Brough.
That's a great kick.
Oh, forces the drop out underneath the sticks, which means that Huddersfield should, again, all things being equal, should be in a drop goal position.
Well, that's all they have to do now, isn't it? That's all they have to do, is get the drop kick. Get field position, 5 drives, as near as the post as they can get.
Well, Danny Brough's boot in the first half with a 40-20 that swung the momentum a little, and then that restart that has given Huddersfield the advantage here. They'll be looking central. There's one drive. Will they go for the drop goal on the 4th or 5th tackle? That's the only question.
Okay, lads.
If they score a try, of course, that settles it, but I think it'll be the drop goal that is uppermost in their mind at the moment. Bailey keeping that position. All eyes on Brough. Where's he? Will he go for it early? If he gets the opportunity, he will. He will go for it early. Danny Brough never got it off the ground. Never got it off the ground.
Back to 6 though, so they can still plenty of time.
Played at. Run forward. Oh, big tackle. Big tackle on Wardle.
He went early there, didn't he? Went very early.
Well, if you're in the position, you might as well. And he clearly thought he was. By the way, Huddersfield have been involved in 2 draws so far this season against Hull Kingston Rovers and Leeds in the Super League. Both of those games here, so they know this scenario well enough. Can they turn this one into a win? Brough's here again. He's going to have another go. Again, it's charged down. Again, it's back to 1.
I don't know why.
Paul Wellens this time.
I don't know why he stands back. He's just got to stand first man. Plenty of time to go again, have another crack at it now, get into the same field position, but just stand in the first man.
Will it be third time lucky? Here's Lunt. Brough
Well, you don't want him taking the ball in. You don't want Bruff taking the ball in.
He's not going to go for the drop goal here, is he?
Not from there, he's not.
Luke Robinson is a likely man as well, but they're still going to run it here. Fayuma, good ball away. Here goes Lunt. As we said, a try would finish it.
Just take it in.
Here's Bailey.
Now it's on.
2.5 minutes to go. Oh, they've gone blind. Lunt spins it away. Dangerous stuff. Robinson. Now he's got the chance. Can't get it off the ground again. Lawrence is going to be tackled. It's another set of 6. Another set of 6.
Right, this is where they need composure.
Here comes Bruff once more. Bruff away. Tackle on Chan. Ohia's hanging on for as long as he can. Bruff again with the dummy. Here goes Bailey. Held up 5 away. 3 tackles gone here. 3 to go. They're going to go early in the count again here. Oh, Fayuma, I think he might have fancied his chances there, but decides that the pass wasn't good enough.
What are they doing?
So runs it. Back to Chan.
Just go midfield. 4, 1 more in now and go first man.
Bruff's a long way back here. Now he gets it. Here it comes. Danny Bruff. This time it's off the ground and he turns away and celebrates.
He's missed it.
He's missed it. Oh, Danny Bruff was celebrating and the referee says it's gone wide. Danny Bruff was convinced that it had gone over. And the ref says, no, it didn't, Danny. Have another look. What do you reckon? What do you reckon?
From where we were, I couldn't see it.
What about that? What about that? What about that? Oh!
That's over.
Oh!
That is over. I think that is over.
That will be a talking point. That will be more than a talking point.
From that angle, it's not over.
Over the top of the post is a drop goal. If it goes over the top of the post, I think it is a drop goal, isn't it? It would count, but that hasn't counted. It remains all square.
And St Helens are right up there now. Right up there. 4th tackle.
Here they go. Back it comes to Walsh. Walsh with a drop goal. First time for him. No mistake. He's nailed it. That's how you do it. This time the referee's arm is lifted. The Huddersfield fans are disgusted. The St Helens fans are jubilant. 17-16. With 40 seconds left to play. There might still be another twist here.
That's a great kick, that is. Under pressure, nails it. Great kick, keeps his composure. They flustered it.
So here we go. Last 24 seconds. Big hit as they try to dislodge the ball there from Lunt. Ohia's going to take his time. This is Wellens, too much experience to even think about the pass. St Helens are going through here. Unless Huddersfield can produce a miracle, Roby. 5 seconds to go. This is the next one. Ohio runs it away. They want the penalty, they want the voluntary tackle, but the referee's turning a deaf ear to that as well. And as the hooter sounds, he blows the whistle. It's the end of the game. But it is not the end of the inquest. There's going to be a lot of debate and talk after that.
They'd have to have a look at the drop goal to see if they'd gone to the video rep to see if it was over. But he was convinced that was not over. From 2 different angles, it's very difficult to say. But there's the man who makes the call, and that's it.
Wow. What a finish. Stewart's helping Phil Bentham down there, but Danny Bruff was absolutely convinced that he kicked that drop goal. The moment it left his boot, he was away celebrating, but the referee said no, and the try is not given. The goal wasn't given, rather.
Again, it'd be interesting to look at where the ball was when it crossed the post.
Now, as I understand it, there you are, they celebrate. I've got it, we've won. And then looks around and disbelief, because the referee says you missed it, Danny.
I think it's definitely where very difficult to see where, you know, where the ball actually crossed.
Your man of the match today, Luke Walsh.
Well, my man, that's purely for the drop goal, really. You know, with Luke Walsh, I think, just composure to nail the game. There weren't really many standout players, but for the drop goal, that was it. Luke Walsh.
What a way to start the Challenge Cup coverage this year.
It'll be interesting to see what, you know, where exactly the ball was, because if he went, well, it looked inside at one stage, then it drifted outside. Just the question is, where did it drift outside? But you can't change the result.
Luke Walsh, the man of the match, is with Damien Johnson. Damien.
Luke, congratulations, the Tetley's man of the match. What an extraordinary finish. Tell us about the drop goal that won it.
Yeah, well, we just made heaps of ground, and that's my job to try and put them over. So, mate, it was a great effort from the boys. We dug in deep there in that second half. We wanted the pump for most of the game, so it was just great to get a win.
Big controversy at the end. Danny Brough thought he'd won it. What was your view of that?
Mate, to tell you the truth, I thought it went over too, so I'm not too sure.
It was a really nip and tuck. It was a heck of a game.
It was a good game. It's a tough game to play in, but just over the moon that we got the win.
It's an exciting side to play in the St Helens side with so many young players. Yeah,
there's a lot of talent here, but we got to put in a better performance than that. We'll beat off today, and full credit to the boys. We dug in there, we hung in, but we have to be better than that.
Well done, Luke.
Cheers, thanks.
Danny Brough is here, the Huddersfield captain. Danny, commiserations. You clearly felt that drop goal towards the end went over.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I we're frustrated about. But you get them calls. Why not go to the screen or something like that? It happens too often in games where refs get calls wrong. Look at Sean Lunt's try there. They went to the screen for about 4 minutes.
I think we can see it in the big screen just behind the camera there. Just have a look there, Danny. Just talk us through what happened.
Well, it's just a kick. I've kicked it high because I've been charged down twice, and it just keeps rising. I don't understand, what's missed there.
You'd had several chances before that. I mean, was there perhaps a lack of composure?
Yeah, there was, but you only need one to go over. We had one go over, he didn't give it, so no more we can do anyway. End the story for that.
Thanks, Danny.
Cheers, boys.
Well, goodness me, we talked about the kicking game at the very beginning of this show. Don't necessarily think we were talking about the drop goal abilities of Walsh and Danny Brough, but that was truly astonishing end, Paul Sculthorpe.
What a magnificent game as well. Not the prettiest game as Jiffy says, but a proper Challenge Cup match, and what a finish. They say great players come up with great things at the time, and Luke Walsh.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it from various different angles, Brian, and we've seen it from various different angles. We're not, depending on what angle you look at, we're not sure whether it went over or not, but surely you can go to the video referee, Brian.
Well, that's my question. Let somebody else have a look at it and give the benefit of the doubt or whatever they do. You can go to the screen, the referee can go to the screen in this situation. Why hasn't it? Because you clearly look at that, it looks like he's gone at least over the top of the post, which is a drop goal.
The man behind the ball is Danny Brough, and he's the one who's seen it from the
what is the in-goal touch? Is there
it.
an in-goal touch judge? Oh, probably not on this one, but just because it's going up doesn't mean it hasn't gone over.
He turns, doesn't he, before the final bit of where the ball's going. So I wonder whether he sees it in one direction and then it moves towards the end. That was a sensational drop goal by Walsh.
Magnificent, just to spot it, and didn't have much time there, Luke Walsh. But he's found the money, and as you say, I think the Saints have pulled off a great coup there in Luke Walsh.
Are you surprised? I mean, we'll come on to how St Helens have performed. Are you surprised, given the technology available? And technology in sport is a huge debate all the time. But are you surprised that on a game on a knife edge that common sense didn't prevail?
I think for everything else we can use the screen for, I'm sure we can use it for drop goals as well. And when there's such a result on one call, I don't see the reason of not using it. We use it for tries and for other things in games. Or just take somebody's advice from somebody who's watching the screen or the third official in the stand.
Well, my point is simple. He's allowed to use the technology in this instance. It should have gone to the screen, and it'd be interesting to ask why it didn't go to the screen, especially when there was a vociferous appeal saying, mate, it went over, have a look. Have a look.
We had a chance in the first half, didn't we? Kopchak's knock-on, where the actual decision was stopped before the ball was touched down. So he'd blown the whistle, so
slightly different.
You couldn't go further.
He'd blown his whistle to stop the game. Had he allowed that to play out, then he could have gone to the screen.
Brett Ferris's red card, I don't think there's any argument, is there?
No, I think not. It wasn't the copybook spear tackle, but it was certainly a dangerous throw. It's more like a wrestling suplex. He's done Johnny, but Johnny's landed on his head, and that is obviously it's dangerous, and we don't need that in the game.
And also because of what happened with Alex McKinnon down in Australia, this is again, like technology, it's a point that's being discussed a lot at the moment.
Yeah, and it's hard to argue that it's not a send-off. I don't think Brett Ferris actually intended him to land in that position. I think, as Paul said, it's a wrestling technique, and he's got it badly wrong. It's a send-off for sure. It's a dangerous tackle, and thankfully, you know, Johnny Lomax landed in the right position.
Although whether he intended it or not, as soon as you're doing that, you are taking the risk of it ending up in that way.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a physical game, but it is bad technique, and you know that is something that it's against the rules. And you know, unfortunately for Brett Ferris, he's paid the ultimate price really of being sent off, and probably caused his team the loss.
And as soon as they were down to 12 men, Saints were able to take advantage as Nathan Brown talks to his team in the Saints dressing room. And Makinson scored another try, and he finished it in exactly the same way as he finished the one in the first half.
It was a fair effort, and you've got to give credit to the St Helens halves. First of all, Lancer Hire stop-starts a couple of Huddersfield players. Luke Walsh here attracts a couple of defenders, takes the ball at the line, which allows them to create a 3-on-2 on the outside. Then it's just about the execution. And you've got this bloke on the outside. Jody Broughton needed to stop the play there but it didn't, and that's full credit to Jordan Turner. He does the tough stuff, attracts Broughton, and I think it's Brough as well. So the offload is great, and the finish is great. Great play.
Great stuff from Jordan Turner there. You know, he's in a position there on the right centres at St Helens where they've had some big names and big players with high skill levels. You know, your Matt Gidleys, your Jamie Lyons, and he's coming up with the goods.
You get the feeling, don't you, that when he gets that ball 5 yards out, he's unstoppable, and he must feel that as well at the moment.
Yeah. Well, he said it, and he's a great finisher. He understands where his touch line is, so he never touches it. He knows that now he can collide with the corner flag without being called out in touch, and he's got the little right hand. He's determined to get the ball down, and 5 metres from the line, it'll be hard to stop Shear.
Let's go back to the Saints dressing room, and they'll go through a victory song, are they, Paul?
Oh, that'll be the old When the Saints. Always come up with that when we have a good win.